Hi, I'm Reverend Paula Skiles of Unity Church of San Marcos. I welcome everyone online and everyone who's with us today. Just wanted to share some wonderful words of wisdom today. You know, in his book, The Diamond Cutter, Tibetan monk Geshe Michael Roach describes blame, criticism, complaining as useless talk. In it, he explains how it depletes us of energy and wires our brains in ways we may not want to be wired. Essentially, you and I are always building our world with our words. This means how you and I use our words is really important to our well-being. Use Our Words is the title of this message, and it's about developing a healthier mindset for our lives. So what kind of world are we building right now with our words? Okay. Is most of it useless talk? Some of it, okay. Would it surprise you to know that about 80% would be useless according to Geshe Roach? Okay. We've all seen what words can do, right? They can lift up or they can tear us down, right? All right. There was a National Science Foundation article that stated that the average person has up to 60,000 thoughts per day, with 80% of those thoughts being negative and 95% being the same as the previous day. Okay. Those are some pretty big numbers. 60,000 thoughts a day. That is 1 thought per second in every waking hour. Amazingly, 95% of those are the same thoughts repeated every day. And have you ever wondered or realized that 80% of those habitual thoughts are negative, or even wondered why? Okay. In fact, human beings have a negativity bias as an evolutionary trait. A negativity bias just means that you and I notice and feel negative things more intensely than positive things. So negative things have a bigger impact on our mental health as well. So why do people have a negativity bias, you may ask? According to psychologist Rick Hansen, a negativity bias has been built into our brains based on millions of years of evolution when it comes to dealing with threats. This served us well. In fact, it was crucial for survival when people were foraging for food long ago, paying close attention to anything that might place them in danger. Our ancestors lived in difficult environments. They had to gather food, avoiding deadly obstacles. You may wonder, well, if this is an evolutionary trait, why would we need to change it? Okay, consider this perspective. Doctors have found that people with high levels of negativity are more likely to suffer from degenerative brain diseases, cardiovascular problems, digestive issues, and recover from sickness slower than those with a positive mindset. Furthermore, psychologists link negative thinking to depression, anxiety, chronic worry, OCD, or chronic obsessive-compulsive disorder. This negativity bias means that we feel the sting of a rebuke more powerfully than we feel the joy of praise. Okay, so what can we do? Are we locked into this?
Feels like it.
It feels like it sometimes, doesn't it? This psychological phenomenon explains why bad first impressions can be so difficult to overcome and why past traumas can have such long-lasting and lingering effects. That's just a few things from a physical and emotional standpoint. It's true that on a spiritual standpoint, the 5 C's, complaining, criticizing, concern, commiserating, and catastrophizing.
Catastrophize.
Good, yes, I said it right, okay? Lack of confidence, gloom, anxiety, they can be soul destroying. There's a valid reason that in the Bible Jesus consistently said, do not be afraid. Seek first the realm of spirit, the living one. All right. So again, I ask, are we locked in negativity? We could be. Can we be freed from these things? We can be. How do we build a new world for ourselves? Don Miguel Ruiz, in his books, The Four Agreements, said this. He said, no other creature has the power we do in this way. The word is the most powerful tool you have as a human. It is a tool of magic. In his book, The Four Agreements, Ruiz argues that our words have the ability to create positive or negative realities, similar to the power of magic. So using them consciously is crucial. You may think, that sounds like a lot of effort. Hello? Why bother? There is a good bit of evidence that shows that people who are positively biased in their appraisal of their experiences are more resilient and have better mental and physical health. That's just on a physical and mental level, but the results on the spiritual level are even greater, starting with more peace of mind, a greater sense of love and connection to spirit and all beings. How you and I use our words, we create either a negative environment or a positive one. Building up a positivity bias is a choice that you and I can make with every thought. Now that's 60,000 of them, right? Well, there's 80,000 of them, 80% of them that we're going to want to shift, okay? The word is not just a sound or a written symbol. The word is a force, an energy. It is a power that you and I have to express and communicate, to think, and consequently build our lives. Not only do we have a negativity bias, we also have an innate positivity bias available to us. Research also indicates that at the subconscious level, our mind tends to focus on the optimistic, while only at the conscious level does it tend to focus on the negative. There are examples of a positivity bias that you might recognize, such as when remembering the first date with your spouse, you think about the excitement and how well you got along, rather than how nervous you were or how awkward the conversation could have been at times. When you and I intentionally use our words to retrain our brain, we can curb negative thoughts. Ask yourself, what would it take to reduce resistance in myself? What would it take to reduce resistance in myself? And wait with it until you get some thoughts. A negativity bias is based out of fear. Therefore, a positivity bias would be based on what? The opposite. Fear is opposite of love, courage, trust, faith. Building our world with trust and faith may take some effort at first, but the more you practice it, it will become easier. Faith is a constant command in the scriptures, and it's opposed to the feelings of dread and fear. Remember Jesus said, do not be afraid, do not worry, do not fear. Why? He was the primary progenitor of positive thinking, okay? Well, anyway, why do we think that was? There are several things we can do to turn a fearful mind away from worry, fear, or anger towards something that makes our lives better. Mindfulness and self-compassion are powerful tools for combating negative thinking and promoting emotional well-being. Mindfulness involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment, allowing you and me to observe our thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. First, start becoming aware of your thoughts and try to focus on the present moment. Then try to change a negative thought. whatever happens in that moment, whatever you're thinking. Notice if it's a pattern of thinking. Look at the thing from a different point of view. Observe it. It's also important to be kind to yourself and treat yourself with love and understanding. I sometimes tell people, if you have a really, really good best friend, treat yourself that way. Hopefully you treat them well, or they're not going to be friends very long. But acknowledge that you have those thoughts. Acknowledge what they are, and simply observe them without judgment. That is so crucial. And as you feel them, feel into them, notice any good and savor it. Be a part of a solution. Consider rather that one answer is to act opposite whatever your negative thoughts are about. Engage in actions opposite to what you would typically do under the influence of that fearful feeling. If your mind is like a whirling hamster wheel of worry and ambition, stopping it for just a moment to focus on mindfulness there's a hidden beauty in that. There is health in that. It's a healthy act. It's a loving act as you do for yourself. For there is a refuge in inhabiting, even just for microseconds, a calm, grateful, embodied, present moment. Because again, the feelings of fear, the opposite feelings are calmness and confidence. At its best, mindfulness can separate you and me from our weakness and worry and permit more objective view of life and its blessings. Spirit is accessible 24/7 and is present even when we're thinking all those negative thoughts. Not just finding God in church, okay? But in buildings, no, everywhere. Finding God in stillness. If you're feeling fear, if you're afraid, but the situation is not actually harmful to your being, approach that situation rather than trying to avoid it. If you're feeling sadness, instead of isolating, engage in activities that improve your mood or connect you with others. Doing something. Understand what triggers you. When you have emotionally charged thoughts, unless you or I choose otherwise, remember, most often they're going to be negative, and they can take over because our limbic system, the reptilian brain part of us that has not advanced a lot, that is not as evolved. It's still evolutionarily trading towards negativity, right? It'll take over, and our prefrontal cortex, which is our used for cognitive functioning and organization, has that energy it needs diverted away from it. What do you think results? You and I cannot think as clearly. Okay? That's when doing something which instills gratitude can help change our minds and our mindset. So cultivating compassion. Once again, research shows that acts of kindness can increase the happiness levels. Excuse me. Pausing our hectic life to put a smile on someone's face has the power to help you and I forget about negative thoughts that may be clouding our mind. When practicing the daily gratitude, we do try to do that. Ask yourself, what have I given back today? It can be as small as smiling at someone you pass on the street, or as significant as volunteering a homeless shelter once a week, or here or some other places ways you can pay it forward. Pay for a stranger's coffee. Participate in a beach cleanup. Call your parents or loved ones after work. Bake cookies for whomever you might happen to come across and just give them away. Donate your clothes that you really haven't been wearing. Hello? Support a local artist. Compliment other people regularly. That is such a really easy thing to do and yet so hard. Finally, replacing our thoughts is about building up a store of positive mental images and feelings. They can help address the imbalance that the negativity bias predisposes us to. So the next time you and I experience a positive moment, take a little more time than you might normally to just savor it. Take longer to enjoy it. Really get into enjoying it and let yourself feel all the joy about it. The positivity bias is the tendency for people to remember pleasant times more accurately than unpleasant ones. Many times we just remember an event, but not everything that occurred because it was so traumatic. Buddha said this, whatever words we utter should be chosen with great care, for people will hear them and be influenced for them for good or evil. So supporting others, sharing love, radiating positive thoughts and feelings. Use our words in the direction of truth and in the energy of love. When you and I are follow through with a decision to have a healthier mindset and to develop that, just that intention changes us at depth. We don't even have to have accomplished anything yet, and we're already transforming just with that. As you and I move in that direction, the truth of spirit manifests in that situation and transforms that emotional bias that exists within us. In our own lives and in our world, we are facing many challenges that could shout out over our own heart's cry for love or oneness. Building up a positivity bias helps you and me bounce back from those challenges. Let us silence our worries and our fears and use our words to trust Spirit to guide us in each moment for that which is ours to express. And so I have this that I would say as I use my words today for you. May the one who calls you into eternal life, the one who holds you, calls you beloved, and yearns that you know Spirit's life and unconditional love now and eternally bless you, so that you can be an instrument of peace, love, compassion, and forgiveness to all you encounter. God bless you all, and thank you for being with me.